Welcome to the Bernhard Neumann Show, where I interview experts in the field of Web3, AI, and entrepreneurship. Today, I have a really cool guest. He's an AI coach. He helps people to use AI to be more productive. And this is a value-packed episode. He really gets into the depth of it. He's not just teasing us. He will tell you how you can use AI to be more productive step by step. He's not holding back. Alex is a great guy. He's a charming Italian. You will like him. You will love the value he provides in this episode. And so let's jump right into it. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you for hosting me, my friend. I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, very, very cool. So we connected on Twitter. It's been a journey. You're growing on Twitter. You're building an audience. And you have a really interesting topic. You're an AI coach. And so first of all, maybe you can introduce yourself real quick, and then we get into what an AI coach actually is and what he does.
Yeah, exactly. So for the people that don't know me, I'm Alex. Basically, I worked as a corporate trainer for like different years in Berlin. I worked as a Google Ads advertising specialist. I worked also like as basically coaching people to upskill themselves, to learn like marketing skills, advertising skills, different stuff that people needed to enhance their career. I loved the transformational part of people, helping them improve. I was not exactly a fan of advertising in general. Like, I don't know, like not many kids are born as children, they're going to say like, when I grow up, I want to be a Google advertiser. So I like that part. It really offered me nice opportunities. But then I decided to go a bit on my own way, to create more content, to go a bit of a more like unique direction. And that's how I ended up on Twitter, basically creating content on something that I was passionate 5 years ago. Because people think that now, it's the hype about AI, and we talk a lot about AI and chatbots and LLMs in 2023. I was talking about stuff in 2018 when it was not cool. Nobody cared about this. This was like my master's thesis. I was passionate about it, and I noticed the potential of AI. When ChatGPT started, it was a game changer for me. So I started leveraging it immediately, and I basically switched careers. I went from being like a corporate, freelancer, like a corporate trainer, upskilling people, to basically being a consultant, a freelancer in AI automation, and what you called me like an AI coach, which is kind of funny. What does that mean? Well, the thing is, I like talking with people. That was my job. I would speak 8 hours per day with people, with my teams, with all the people that they assigned to me. So I'm kind of doing the same right now. So I'm basically explaining to people how to leverage it to improve their lives, because I know the impact of AI that's going to have in the next years, and it's going to be huge. I don't want to bring negativity in the show, but with people who are going to say like, oh yeah, things are not going to change much. I tried ChatGPT, doesn't do much. No, it's going to do a lot. And if people do not upskill themselves to start leveraging AI, they're going to get left behind. And this is where I kind of come in, where I like this topic and I want to educate people. And I'm not talking about experts here changing the world. I'm talking about the normal people, the creators, the freelancers who could potentially win, as they say in my Twitter bio, 20 hours per week to spend more time with their family, basically increase their business, or just be more creative, because it offers us some possibilities that are very unique. And I'm going to talk about this a bit later. But yeah, I essentially talk with people how they can use AI to be better people.
Okay, that's a good start. What are the conversations about? If you can give us an insight here, like where do people need your help? Like where do you pick them up, so to say, and where do you bring them to in your work?
Right. So to me, it's basically, again, I look very deeply at the human aspect. So normally, like my clients, the people I work with are motivated people who have the energy and drive to build something. Right. So like, for example, I select my clients and I talk with them. I like to do like video calls so that they see me, they know who I am. I talk again on a one-to-one human level. And then I essentially try to increase their capabilities. So I teach them the AI that I personally use, how I leverage it, right, to increase your brainstorming abilities, how to get a team of graphic designers for $20, how to write 10 times more, how to, whatever you can think of, whatever you need help with, I am able to tailor the AI to help you with that. But people sometimes don't even think about the possibilities, right? And it offers you a competitive edge, to be honest. So one of my clients, for example, wanted to write a book. right? So it would take him 1 year. I'm coaching him basically how to write it in 1 month. Now, if you think about it, right, like normal people, not enhanced by AI, it would take them 1 year to write one book. My client can, in this time, write 12 books. Do you think he has an advantage?
I think so, Alex. That is
Yeah, I
convincing.
think so too. So that's why, for example, this is one of the possible use cases, but there are different more that I talk about with people on the phone or based on their needs. Because again, I don't offer to people like, hey, learn ChatGPT. I ask them questions like, what exactly do you need? How do you think we can automate your daily workflows to save you time? And then I basically make a tailored package on that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I'm not finding an example right now, but like we have coaching for so many things. You know, back in the days, I had a golf coach, I had a mental coach, had a fitness coach, and everything. And so I think this matches definitely the importance, you know, of having a fitness, a health coach. Like it's so important for your job to be fit in this AI stuff. Is so they always say, you know, like you're not gonna get replaced by AI, but by people using AI. Well, is that also what you think?
It's not what I think. It's the future. Because again, I just gave you the example with my client writing books, right? So it's like, of course, it's your choice to use it or not. But I know this quote and I don't remember where I found this from. It's like, just because you don't like a technology doesn't mean you're going to stop. So I know people like software developers who are able to work 3 times as fast because they use ChatGPT, you know, to code. I know people who are able to write books much faster with ChatGPT. I know people who are able to make graphic design with Midjourney. So do you think they have a competitive advantage? Do you think they would be selected for jobs for like different positions? Like, of course they will be. You have no, like, if you don't use this, like, imagine that you're in 2023 and you're not using a smartphone. Yes, you can survive as a human, but you think you're going to compete with other people who are able to, you know, answer messages, who are able to like create business around the world. And it's so impactful. This is why, like, I truly believe in this. And again, it's not to scare people. It's just to motivate them, you know, to use these tools because it will impact the world a lot and it can give you so many things. It can give you much more free time. It can give you creativity. It can essentially enhance your IQ by 20 points. And that's why I want more people to start using it. And it's kind of funny because my services, what I do, not a lot of people do them, I've noticed, you know, because you have so many content creators out there who give you these like lists of prompts or like, you know, top 50 tools that are out this week. And everybody bookmarks them and like they go viral and all of this stuff. But then they're not teaching you how to use it. They're not going to sit next to you and say, and like with screen sharing, it's like, hey, are you using this to improve your business? How you can increase your sales funnel with ChatGPT? They don't do that for you. And I'm willing to do that. Like, I like this part of actually interacting with humans, and AI at the end of the day for me is just an excuse to get the better out of people.
Love it. Let me challenge you a little bit. So like as you just said, there's this buzz on social media, right? And like I get these videos and they say, okay, in 5 minutes, you're going to create your own avatar. It's going to talk like you. And then you have automated yourself completely, you know, and all this kind of stuff. Like, how much of this is really real? Like how much results can you get as an average person, as someone that's not like a programmer or a graphic designer or anything? What do you see there, and what do you actually can do in
That's a good question. And I'm going to give you the truth here, the honesty. You can get the same results as an expert. The difference is that they're not telling you on social media the time that you need to learn the skill. Because the way I see it, right, for example, we can talk about like prompt engineering here. Like, how do you develop prompts? Now, I can give you my prompts, but you wouldn't be able necessarily to use them because you don't apply yet the logic behind it. You didn't develop yet the skills behind it. Because again, as I tell people, it's a skill that you're learning. It took me almost 1 year. I knew this about already like in 2018. I started using ChatGPT since the beginning, and I learned this. My prompts at the beginning were garbage. And, you know, like writing, like with the learning, like all of this stuff, like you need to learn it. You need to apply effort, and then you're going to get the results as the experts. But of course, that's the game, right? That it shows you on social media. It's like, hey, in 5 minutes, you can get like a sales team available if you're an expert. If not, well, it will take you, again, like a couple of weeks to learn it, and then you'll get the same results. But you should invest the time in developing the skill. Once I teach people how to prompt properly, I notice how their output improves, how they're telling me, is like, hey, this is really cool. I'm finding a lot of use cases. And when we started, they're like, yeah, I tried ChatGPT. I wasn't impressed. It gave me some generic stuff. Not really, how you prompt it, it's what you get. Imagine this is what I use this metaphor, right? Imagine that it's a very intelligent intern. It wants to help you. It's able to give you immense, like results, but it doesn't necessarily know what you want. And if you, as the boss of the company, as the CEO, you don't know how to explain the task to the intern, what result can it bring to you?
Yeah, it's such a good comparison, and I think it's such an important point where people, they like. I show it to my girlfriend, I show it to my parents, and they type in stuff, and it's so generic, it's not a good prompt, and then obviously they're not crazy impressed with what comes out of it. And so I think that's a really important point to be made. You talked so much about prompts. I'm so curious. Can you give us a little insight, a little bit of the secret sauce? What does make a good prompt?
I even explained this in one of my posts. So it's basically to have a organized structure. So like I explained this, I break it down. For example, all the time, it's not rocket science, but all the time, it has immense capabilities. You want to assign it a role. So when you talk with it, you don't say like, write to me a blog article. Tell it you are an expert copywriter who is very good at persuading people in taking action, right? You are like an expert salesman. Write to me a convincing sales funnel that I can apply for small startup founders to get funding, something like that. So you assign it a role. You give it the context. So you tell it so the context is that I talk about, scaling small businesses. And I want to increase this by offering people my SaaS, right? So again, you offer it also in what context should you talk about? Then offer examples. You see, as you would be explaining it to a human. So you're telling it what's the context of what we're doing here? What is your role into this? What you should be doing? Examples. So you tell it, in the past, I wrote this blog post, it went really well, copy this structure, for example, or I don't know, try to offer it some examples so it can copy them. Also important, give it some rules. This is where some people nowadays think just let it be creative because it has built-in creativity, which is useful sometimes, but not all the time. This is why it's super useful to give it constraints, rules. Tell it make the article maximum 300 words. Keep the sentences short. Give me an actionable bullet point list. Do not use hashtags, all this stuff. So essentially, you give it clear directions on the output that you want in order to be consistent. And once you have this nailed down and you're satisfied with the results, then you can repeat this process and it becomes a lot faster because you develop the prompt, you get the results that you want, and that's where the automation starts happening, where you're seeing hey, I can make a newsletter in 30 minutes. But you see, again, I'm repeating here, it's skill and iteration, because people think I can just give them a list of prompts and it's going to work. It's not the truth. I tell people, I'm teaching you, I cannot give you, I don't want to give you fish. I want to teach you how to fish. It's different.
The good old, for sure. How fast is everything iterating? So you teach something and then two weeks later, it's already new technology. Things have changed. What's your experience here? How fast is this moving?
It depends on the needs to the clients at the end of the day, to be honest. Now, one of the things I can tell you based on this is just my subjective opinion, but I like to keep things simple. I do not like to, overwhelm people because, again, every week we have all of these tools launching, and I can tell you, I try the majority of them, and you don't need them. You don't need them because you have ChatGPT 4 with plugins that essentially when plugins launch made more than half of all these third-party tools obsolete. You don't need them. For example, I don't know, reading PDFs, making summaries of YouTube videos, looking for academic research. All of this is included in the $20 package with ChatGPT Plus. You don't need these third-party solutions. For graphic design, you can just make an investment of $10 with Midjourney, and you don't need to try all of these different tools that offer to you tailored, customized, anything, because if you take those 2-3 days time to learn it properly, together with an expert, you're able to get results, and it costs you in the end, the cost remains the same. It's still $10 with Midjourney, still $20 with ChatGPT. It's just your skill that gives you more value from it. Mm-hmm. So at this point, if what you're using works, why do you need to go out there and try 20 new different tools that essentially can do the same? I can tell you from experience because I checked them. So what all these tools, new tools do, they're essentially simplified versions or just very smart ChatGPT prompts. That's what they do. They're just like layers on top of ChatGPT, to get you more specific results. But if you know what you're doing, you don't need them. You don't need them.
Makes total sense. So, what I would love to come back a little bit to the coaching aspect, and for people also to get a feel for it. Because we talk about being more productive here with AI, and so I wonder. Let's take me for example. I'm a branding and Web3 strategist. I consult with companies to help them do better branding, be more specific, more visible on social media and the digital platforms. How would you approach, how can I become more productive with AI? What's the toolbox you're suggesting here?
Right. So in terms of a branding expert, for example, I would try to see I think you would need more brainstorming help, for example, right? Because again, these clients come to you for solutions, for ideas. Now, you are an expert. Sometimes you have them, but not all the time. So this is where, for example, ChatGPT can get you stuck out of a block where you're like, I don't know what to tell them, or I don't know if this will work. Try to get additional input from it. So what I did also, I also do brand consulting, I even created my own brand, I tried to be consistent. So the idea is I devise, different prompts to ask it. It's what specific elements could help uplift my brand, for example, for generation X? Or I have the following colors that my public likes, my audience likes. I want to do some rebranding. What are some specific colors that can help me stand out in the startup niche? Now, the idea is that it's not going to replace you, but can allow you to get that advanced brainstorming, to give you more ideas, to make you more creative faster. Or essentially, you could even take the questions of your clients, right? So the clients come to you with 10 questions. You know the answer to 5. You don't know the answer to the remaining 5. Ask it to ChatGPT with in-depth prompts. You tell them, as I told you now, the structure. What is their role? A branding expert. What is the context? The specific company. What are the examples that they provided to you? And then ask it, what are some actionable prompts to give them valuable insights? Or give it to you a list of tasks that you can do for them to give them value. So what I do is I always try to get these lists of 10 actionable bullet points, and usually out of these bullet points, 8 of them are okay, a couple of them are really good. And to me, that's value, right? Because again, this is what people look. They always look for that 1% edge over the competition, and this is a way to get it.
Yeah,
because it's fast, it's cheap, and you can also decide hey, I don't like what I'm getting here. I'm going to go with my intuition, and that's fine. But why not have a team of AI assistants at your back, telling you, yeah, try this out, we have a solution for you. Essentially, you are not alone. You're smarter. You can do everything much faster, better.
Totally. I personally even already think, and I've put it in my bio before, where I say, hey, I use AI. People would say, don't tell them you use AI or anything. I want them to know I'm gonna be even better. You think I'm good. That's why we're working together. But I also use AI to make me even better, and that's I think how you should look at it. So what other toolboxes do I have? So I can say, we said brainstorming. What other things can AI do for me to be more productive?
It can write for you. It can write for you really well if you know, for example, what you want from it. So this is why, again, sometimes I get into fights with graphic designers, because I kind of automate them with, Midjourney. I get into fight with ghostwriters and copywriters because, again, if you know what you need and you know how to ask it, and if you have input, it can do these tasks really well, or 70% well. And that's the thing, is people say oh, it cannot substitute me. No, but it can make you much faster. So at this point, why would I spend $2,000 for a ghostwriter when I can spend $20 for ChatGPT, which does half of my job, and then I fill out the rest, and voila, I have all that I need. I have copywriting for my clients. I have it for my landing page. This is, for example, one of the things. You can even improve yourself all the time. So you can give the landing page that you have, for your website, right, as a consultant, you can give it the landing page text, and you can tell it hey, you're a brand, you're a copywriting expert, and you're persuasive, at sales. Look at my sales, like my landing page text, and make it better, make it more persuasive. And it can help you improve. And I know that, for example, one of the big players in this, it's Ruben Hassid on LinkedIn. He has I don't know, more than 100,000 followers. He did exactly this to improve his landing page, and he made a killing. He's super, successful with this. So I know it works. People who are even teaching you how to make newsletters. Because, back in the days, newsletters took you a long time to write them, a whole week. Now you have people shooting a newsletter like every day. Like, you think that's humanly possible? Of course not. They're empowered by AI.
Yeah.
But it shows you that it can be done. So there are multiple tasks, for example, graphic designers, what I just mentioned to you, right? So last year, you would pay a graphic designer 500 euro for a graphic of something, right? They would work on it in Photoshop, they will add, modify it, and then they'll show the end results. You can do all of this in Midjourney. It takes you 20 seconds. You can combine it, of course, with some other tools, with Canva or something to add some text, and you get it. You get amazing graphics if you know what you're doing with a little bit of effort. And you just saved 500 euro that you can invest in marketing and advertising. I mean, these are very useful leverage points, even for solopreneurs or small businesses launching that before they did not have. They could not compete, right? You do not have a budget for a graphic designer. So you would make these homemade, graphics, and people can see that they're a bit amateurish. It's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's not an excuse anymore to have average graphics, because you can do it with Midjourney. It's one of the modules I teach to my clients, and every time I see the difference, after they finish this module with me, their whole brand, their whole account just levels up, where you see these amazing, consistent graphics that are really eye-catching, really professional, and the price behind it, my consultation, $20 with Midjourney.
There you go. You're good at selling. I love it.
No, but they can do it by themselves. They can even do it by themselves. It's not that necessarily they need me. It would just take more time.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying to the people to open their minds on the possibilities, right? And I'm sorry for the graphic designers, but I mean, the technology is there. Are you going to use it or not? Up to you.
For sure. I mean, you're going to pay for a tennis coach, so why not for an AI coach? Makes total sense to me. And yeah, so you talk about leveling up. So are we all leveling up? So everything just gets better? Sometimes I look at social media and I think, okay, he's already so good, she's amazing, and everyone is starting to get really good because they use AI. So yeah, not to get left behind, you just gotta also use it, and we all just create better stuff.
Well, yes. Because to be honest, this is what, so if you see the comparison, right? So between somebody who's leveraging it, so for example, let's say me or you or the people who do my course, right? So they're able to create amazing graphics, and they can show it, with the graphics, they catch your eyes, they catch your attention, or on their landing page, all of this. They're able to write much faster content. They're able to automate things so that they can dedicate more time to the leverage moving tasks. So if I can automate my newsletter, what does this mean? I have more free time to comment, to DM people, to get on phone calls. Again, these add up, this 1% plus 1%, it gives you a huge edge. And I imagine the person who needs to hire a graphic designer for some graphics, or doesn't make them, who, spends 2 weeks to write the newsletter and it's manually human made. I mean, I have nothing against it. But again, if people are not using this, how are you going to compete with the people who are using it?
Yeah,
it raises the bar. It raises the bar for everybody, because people are just producing faster and better stuff. And if you're not able to, keep up the pace, well, again, you would just be one of those guys who uses Twitter like it's 2012 or something, where you write short tweets and you're comparing it to people who write paragraphs every day, tutorials, news, cool stuff, right? So what is your odds on competing with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I really love what you just said. I think that makes so much sense, and yeah, just has to happen that way. And also with, the leverage, moving to the task where you really build leverage. And I think that makes so much sense to have AI in place for you, and then you do the human connection that you can
exactly
automate here, and that will give you the certain leverage here. So
exactly,
I think we touched on this. Let's get a little bit more philosophical here. Where does content go? You're a content creator, you create a lot of content. Where do you see content going with all this AI stuff? Now, there's just so much abundance, and then that's AI's producing content, and you look at it's such a weird thing. Do you have something?
It is.
What's in your mind for the next 12 months or something where content is going?
Human connection. Yeah. I know it sounds really funny coming from the AI guy, but that is a thing that will not change. So people want to relate with people at the end of the day. So the thing is, One, I got asked a couple of times, like, do you automate your comments or no? Like, do you talk with people? Like, do you send automated messages? Like, never. I would never do something like that because that is actually what you're aiming for at the end of the day. So your content is supposed to touch people's minds and hearts, right? Yeah, if you're not doing that, you're doing the game wrong, in my opinion. But why are you doing this? Well, enable to create a connection with them. And this is where it's going to be the difference. There are going to be creators who know how to achieve this and spend their time towards building relationships, communities, human interactions. And people are just going to post stuff in the sea of content, whatever it's human or AI. And that's not going to work. Let's put it this way. It's going to work even less in the next years because there's going to be a sea of content. And then what distinguishes the people who actually relate to you. This is why for me, for example, I post these guides every day. I post like thought-provoking stuff. But then at the end of the day, my main leverage moving tasks are getting on phone calls, talking with people, creating a community. And again, keeping the human aspect to it because that's what people want and that's what they enjoy. That's what I enjoy. Would you agree with me, or do you just prefer to consume content and never know who's the person behind?
Yeah, totally agree. And you had a tweet today. I think it was about creators having, really urging them to use AI because the game kind of changes. Can you reflect on that a little bit?
Yeah, so to give more context to the audience, basically what happened, I saw this video where like a friend of mine, wanted to get a sneak peek of a launching product. Basically this hyper-realistic avatar generator. Now, until now, we had in the last month, some of these like AI avatars, they were kind of decent. They're like animated, looking cute, cartoons. But this company now actually made them super detailed. They look like real. I mean, you saw the video. It looks like a real human, like 97%. Which, to be honest, it does a better performance than a lot of YouTubers out there. Like I did YouTube for like 1 year, and I know that starting YouTubers are really going to struggle to compete with that.
Right.
Now, what happens here? To go back to your initial question, I just wanted to give some context to the audience. The thing at this point is like the entry barrier is lower because think about it, right? You're not a sociable person, you're not an extrovert, but you have the opportunity to use a hyper-realistic avatar. So at this point, use your mind, leverage this AI technologies to create interesting scripts that connect with people, and you create your avatar, which is hyper-realistic and is able to talk like in your dreams, be able to be confident. You don't need to build the social skills at this point because you have your avatar who is able to do this. So the question is, again, I come to the people and ask, are you going to leverage it or not? Because you might not be doing it, but other people will. Can you compete with that? I don't know.
Yeah, I like this. This is unlocking so many people that were kind of, locked out because they didn't feel comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah.
They thought they're not creative in that way, or their creativity was just writing, and now writing can become video, can become images.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
I can even give you like a little personal story regarding this because I traveled around like the whole Europe, to go to the art museums. I love art, like the paintings, these Renaissance paintings, these like old school paintings. I was never able to make them though. Like I don't know how to draw. What happened with Midjourney at one point, I think this was like 6 months ago. So like my friend, she sent me a picture and I was like, wow. And I told her like, you look like one of these Renaissance ladies. And then I remember like, hey, I was trying out this Midjourney stuff and I tried it and I essentially made like a Renaissance painting of her in 1 minute. And I sent it to her and she loved it. And she posted it on social media, on Instagram, and people loved it. And for a moment I was like, this allowed me to be a Renaissance painter. It's crazy. Like what I had in my mind, this drawing of her, I made it reality in 1 minute. So this to me was just so amazing to think that now normal people who never painted their whole life have this possibility to be creative, to go out there and impress people with beautiful artwork. And there's, of course, going to be the debate, but but AI is not really real art. I don't see it that way because, if it touches people's emotions, is that not art? Was it made with what? Photoshop, Midjourney, Adobe, a painter, like in a laboratory? If it works, if it touches your feelings, it's art. If it's not, it's not.
100%. So I imagine many people out there wonder, how does an AI coach use AI himself? What do you do on a daily basis? How do you use it? How does it make you better? You touched on it a little bit, but let's hear it again, if you may.
Sure. So basically, I try to make all my processes smarter and faster. So, for example, on ChatGPT, for people who have like the application like on the phone, on the app, you can have like voice commands now. So basically, every time I have to do a task, and ask it like, hey, I have to send 10 emails to potential clients. What would be the fastest, most efficient way to do this based on my specific situation? I can just tell it to the phone. It can give me like a workflow, and if I like it, I use it. If not, I do my old style method. So I ask continuously for advice how to improve my daily tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Research on the internet, I don't go on Google anymore. Like, I respect Google. They gave me like a super nice time back in my corporate career, but now I don't use Google anymore to search the internet. I just use Perplexity. So I ask the questions of what I want. It gives me the answers. I don't need to visit websites. I get answers. I take action. I don't consume YouTube anymore. I automated that, for example. So I have like on ChatGPT 4, there's various plugins. So one of them is Video Insights. I give it the link to the video. It gives me a summary to the video. I have like another plugin which is able to write documents for me. So I tell it, analyze this video, give me a bullet point summary, apply it to my current project of creating an educational product this week. So what I do is I basically take all of this knowledge and I do not consume it. I package it in a way that's actionable for me, for my current project. And then I just take action. It just simplifies, it just shortens these action times that in the past, I had to watch the video for 1 hour and you would take notes and then you write the Google Doc and then you would think about like, that's gone. All of this happens in 55 seconds. The time that you see ChatGPT process and use all the plugins to give you the document that is there. I can already make like a lead magnet, all of this done. Another thing is like, I'm a solopreneur. I do all of this myself. I love what I do, but I'm a solo person for now. I intend to build a company, a business like in less than 1 year. But how do I manage all of this? So I ask it to give me AI assistance. So, I created like a sales coach for me, an AI sales coach who trains me, like how to do better phone calls with clients, to pitch stuff, how to create sales funnels to give my potential clients more value, right? How to make like warm leads, close a deal, and get benefits for both sides. I try to make it improve my marketing abilities because, again, I have my strengths, but I also have my weaknesses. And I try to complement that with AI and all the things that I find that I need help with. So it's, at the end of the day, what I teach also my clients, it's about critical thinking. It's not about the machines. Because if you know what you need and how to think, the machine will reflect that. But if you don't know what you want, what is the machine supposed to give you? If you don't have clear ideas of what you need, how can you get clear answers? And I use it for graphic design, for everything I do, because I like graphics. I like cool stuff. I like animated videos and all this stuff. So I use it, of course. And I can make all of this, like animations, imagery, branded stuff very fast, very efficiently. I even talked with another friend of mine who does like book publishing, and he was interested in it. And I was like, yeah, it can totally work. Like, why spend 12 hours per day to make one cover for a book when you can be spending that time with your family in the woods, enjoying nature, and you spend only half an hour for the same cover? Maybe it's even better than your normal results. They don't like this answer, but they know it's the truth. And then when they try it and it works, they're mind blown by it. Like, oh my God, this is overpowered. Yes, it is.
Loved it.
There are many more use cases, but we don't have enough time for this.
We don't have, and we cannot give away all the secrets here. So this is great value. Thank you so much for sharing. I think it really gets me going, gets people out there going. Okay. There's more to it than the media typed into ChatGPT to do the homework. Like there's just more to it. If we look a little bit into the future, you also have this theme of 2027 in your profile. I really like it. So there's a specific day here. How do you see it? What's your view in the future? With AI in the age of AI.
I think we need to make it better. That's the thing. So this is one of the things. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I was talking about the future of chatbots and AI in 2018. So now we're in 2023, and I'm talking about 2027. Because the idea is that I like thinking about the future. I want to raise awareness on this. The technology is developing super fast. We're not prepared for this. It's going to develop even faster in the future with like embodied AI, because how long is it going to take us before we start putting ChatGPT into moving robots that assist us, and make them smarter, better? I don't know if you saw, for example, like these videos from Boston Dynamics. Like I think they're like 3 years ago, where you have these like, clunky robots who could barely walk. Now they can do backflips. I cannot do backflips. I'm not capable, but they can do it, the robots. So like you just add ChatGPT to it and they can do backflips and talk to you. And this is just to give you some ideas, right? What can happen the next like 3-4 years. Now, on this space that I hold like every Monday and talk about the future of 2027, I talk with other experts, like we delve into these topics, like in healthcare, in terms of like malicious AI. There are many topics that we talk about like every Monday, and the idea is that we want to raise awareness on how people should also regulate these kind of things, right? Because it's so easy to use this technology. But what I find a bit sometimes, I wouldn't say preoccupying, but we should think more, is like, we have this technology, but should we be using it in this direction, right? Because it's so easy to just ask ChatGPT to increase your sales. But the question is, are you giving value to the people with these sales? And that I think is not addressed enough. Like, we're creating so many more tools to automate everything, but it's like, do some tasks need automation so it can help doctors take decisions faster? That's useful. But should we completely automate doctors and get them out of the picture? No, I don't agree with that. They should remain, like a part of the human community. I talk with educators who are having struggles with students who are, basically cheating on homework with AI. So people are saying, okay, we can just make AI tutors and stuff like that. Like, no, human educators still have a role in the community, building the community and having human connections. So this is why these are all topics that we should think about while we proceed in the future, in the next years.
For sure. What would you say if I tell you that I think in 10, 15 years, there's hardly anything humans can add to work, to jobs that we do right now? The machines are just going to be so much better. So we will have to find a different niche, or actually living the dream, right?
Yeah, right.
Just sipping pina coladas. What would you say to that?
It's a fascinating historical time we live in. And this is why, like, I try to raise awareness. Like, I'm a small player on this, of course. Like, I'm no big shot yet. But the idea is I'm trying to raise awareness on this because there is the potential there to increase the life quality of many people if we leverage this correctly, right? So, like, for example, one of my ideas is once I will have like an education company set up like a bigger team, not just me alone, I can just help, for example, poor countries by giving them access to AI, right? So you can have like these poor children who don't have access to schools, but they can, like use ChatGPT to learn coding, to learn SEO, to become copywriters, which can improve their lives and their communities for only $20 per month. Now, the idea is here that, again, if we manage this properly, if we regulate it, if we have control on it, it can allow us to, just enjoy life, be creative, help other people, connect, have more free time, and leverage it in a wonderful way. Or it could make us miserable because, as you said, like, it will do everything that we do much better. So what's your purpose? Why do you exist? And if you don't have a purpose, it will be time to find
it. Love it. Last question on AI. What's the latest shit an AI coach is using in the field of AI? What comes to your mind when I say what's the latest stuff, the hot stuff people are talking about that just came out that kind of is maybe a game changer?
It's funny because I have the answer for this, but the thing is, when you're going to get my answer and you're going to publish the episode, it's already going to be like obsolete. It's already going to be something new. Again, I'm staying true to my original vision. I tell people, keep it simple. Find what works for you and work more with that, because people suffer, I think, a lot with AI with like the shiny object syndrome, where again, you get like a new tool every day and you need to try this out. And then what happens? You never go in depth with nothing. I can tell people you can totally be fine with ChatGPT 4, Perplexity, and Midjourney. If you master these, you can make 6 figures in like in 1 year. But the idea is like, be an expert on these. You don't need to be a genius, but invest time to be really proficient in it. And you see that it's basically a gold mine, to be honest. You have a lot of companies willing to implement, automation. Are you becoming an expert in this? Like, no. Well, start doing it maybe. It can become like a potential change for your future. You might like this. Instead of just chasing the newest hype, the newest trend, like, oh, I'll use this tool. I can tell you now, for example, like the newest tool that I'm seeing right now is the one that I shared today, with these hyper-realistic avatars, where I can teach my clients is like, hey, let's start for you a YouTube career that you can automate in like half an hour per week, and you can maybe go viral because people love these like virtual avatars. So you have basically this shy person who never did YouTube his whole life, able to leverage 4 or 5 tools to essentially have a super professional YouTube channel. This is what we have now in this week. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like in 1 month where you can like read your mind and you can just like publish the videos and whatever, but I tell people again, keep it simple, keep it effective.
Love it. Love it. So some closing questions. Thank you for your time already. I find this really interesting to ask people. Borrowed it from Tim Ferriss. So what have you changed your mind about in recent time about AI? It's changing all the time. Was there something where I thought it's this way and no, it's actually I have to think about it a different way. Was there something that comes to mind?
I could totally compare my view from 2018 with the view from 2022. Because back in my master's thesis where I talked about chatbots and all this stuff, I was quite negative about it. I was like, this technology is only going to make us like just throw us further apart. It's going to disconnect us. It's only going to like create barriers for human to interact. I don't believe that anymore because I find it as an amazing tool to enhance creativity. So that's the idea, right? So you are more creative. You have more free time. You are able to chase your dreams, So it's like with all of these things combined, why would you not be a better human? Why would you not chase the best version of yourself? Because now you have these tools in your pocket. You just need your phone. Your phone has access to Discord, to access Midjourney. You have access to ChatGPT with the voice commands. Build. Be better. Create.
I think you already maybe have answered my next question. You have this big billboard. You're from Italy. Maybe it's towering over the whole of Italy. Everyone can see it there. And now, Alex, you have the chance to put something on that billboard. What's the message you would like to pass on for many people to see?
Create and connect with AI. Basically, create with AI and connect with humans.
Okay. Short and sweet. Love it. Nothing to add here. Alex.
I'm a simple man.
Yeah. It's been fantastic. I'm pretty sure many people are very curious where they can find you online, where they can connect with you. Where would you send them to?
They can find me on Twitter at NorthstarBrain or my website, basically, northstarbrain.com. And that's it for now. Like, I don't complicate things.
Is there any story behind Northstar Brain? Why
there is, yes, because the brain, because I'm a big fan of education. Yeah. So increasing your brain capabilities. So the brain is something very important to me because that's where all your reality exists at the end of the day, if you think about it. I know this is going to sound a bit crazy, but think about all of the stuff that you do and think and see, it's inside your brain. So sharpening your brain, increasing your brain, it's the only way that you have to improve your reality at the end of the day. And North Star, because it's the North Star, basically, it's the guidance. So that's the idea. I really like the name in terms of being a brain, like a illuminated brain guided by the North Star.
Love it. Very cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the value for
Bernhard.
That really positive energy you bring to the space. And yeah, I see you soon.
Thank you for the great questions. This was a great episode.
Thank you, Alex.